Okay, this is going to be South Cavalry Battlefield Part 9 here on Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook. And in Part 8 we left off as we walked down the road all the way out here into the woods and looked at the flank marker for the 6th Pennsylvania Cavalry. Their marker sits about a half a mile north of our original chute, northbound along the Emmitsburg Road, and right near the Gettysburg Battlefield Resort, which you can see in the distance. This little picket fence, and then you see the monument to 6th Pennsylvania Cavalry, Rush's Lancers. Now, Rush's Lancers and the 6th Pennsylvania Cavalry were commanded, even though the monument doesn't state it, they were commanded by Major John Hasseltine here at the Battle of Gettysburg. And of course, they were part of Wesley Merritt's brigade of Reserve Corps Cavalry that made the attack on July 3rd, 1863, up the Emmitsburg Road toward the Confederate right flank in the distance up here. They were a regiment with a nickname called Rush's Lancers because early in the war they had carried a lance. That was discarded by the time they got to Gettysburg. In the wilderness areas of Virginia in 1862, they found that it wasn't very smart to be riding around in the woods with a lance on. So by the time they got here to Gettysburg, the lance was discarded. However, they did retain the lance when they came here to dedicate their monument, and they put several of them around their monument, as you can see. Now, the monument itself was actually designed by one of their lieutenants, Frank Furness. And Frank Furness would later become a famous Philadelphia architect who designed like the archway of the Philadelphia Zoo and other buildings. He actually designed his own fireplaces. He was a designer and an architect, and he was actually the one who designed the monument to the 6th Pennsylvania Cavalry. And again, because of its location on the South Cavalry battlefield, which isn't very well interpreted by the park, and also it sits here back in this little picket fence area here off of the Emmitsburg Road near the Gettysburg Battlefield Resort. It's not often seen. People ride right by and don't even notice the monument sitting here back off the road. Now, when it was dedicated, and I have a picture of it early after its dedication, this was all open farm field back here. Today it's a resort area and a camping area, so it gets overlooked as tourists come here to town to visit. But again, these guys were a part of Wesley Merritt's brigade, made the attack on the Confederate right flank up the Emmitsburg Road on July 3rd, 1863. This has been the South Cavalry Battlefield, Part 9, on Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook. This is going to be South Cavalry Battlefield Part 10 here on Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook. Our last video, Part 9, was at the Rush's Lancers Monument, which sits beyond the woods here. If you go northbound on the Emmitsburg Road, you'll come to Ridge Road. If you take Ridge Road up here, this house is number 206 Ridge Road. Right before this house, I have my car parked here across the street, and there's a couple U.S. boundary markers. There is another secret road right here that if we walk back, as we do, you'll see another marker that relates to the South Cavalry Battlefield and also to Merritt's Brigade. Now, on our right over here in the distance is actually the Gettysburg campground. So the video that we shot with the 6th Pennsylvania Rush's Lancers would be straight in front of our camera. This road that we're actually walking on, we've talked about before and actually seen in our first couple videos on the South Cavalry Battlefield, as well as on our video series of the Cornelius Hoodlin Farm, because this is the old Cornelius Hoodlin Farm lane. This road led from Emmitsburg Road at the Cornelius Hoodlin Farm and continued in this direction back this way, and then went to the back sides of both Bushman Hill and the Round Tops. And actually, we're going to walk along this road today. Up here at the end is an actual marker that's also one of the least visited markers on the Gettysburg battlefield. South Cavalry battlefield has probably, out of all the spots, other than maybe Wolf's Hill, probably some of the most non-visited markers. And we're going to take a look at another one of those such markers here in just a moment as we walk on the old Cornelius Hoodlin Farm Lane Road, or the road that I like to call the road to the right. It was this road on July 2nd that the 1st Texas General Hood wanted to take this road to try to get to the rear of federal troops, but was turned down instead of a straight on attack to the area of Devil's Den. And we're just near the end here, and up here on the left you can see this marker, and we're going to walk up to it, take a look at it, read its casualties. Alright, this marker is for the 5th U.S. Cavalry, again, part of Merritt's Brigade. They were under the command of Captain Julius W. Mason. They had 4 men wounded and only 1 missing. There was no deaths in the 5th U.S. Cavalry. Again, they were part of the Reserve Brigade, 1st Division, under Brigadier General Wesley Merritt. This has been the South Cavalry Battlefield, Part 10, and Secrets of the Battlefield, a portion of the road to the right, the Cornelius Hoodlin Farm Lane, here on Gettysburg Battlefield South Cavalry Battlefield, Part 11 here on Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook. We took a look at the 5th U.S. Cavalry marker here in front of us, and we're going to continue across Ridge Road, right here at 206 Ridge Road, and we're going to continue heading toward the Round Tops. And just a few hundred yards to our front will be another marker, again, that is not often known about or visited. And again, this is the old road bed for the road to the right, or as we know it, the Cornelius Hoodlin Farm Road that led from the Emmitsburg Road right at the Cornelius Hoodlin Farm and went back toward the Round Tops and the backside of Bushman Hill. This is the road that originally the 1st Texas Infantry under John Bell Hood wanted to take on July 2nd of 1863 and try to surprise and attack Federal soldiers from the rear. Instead, it would be the road used on the attack of Brigadier General Wesley Merritt's Brigade, Reserve Cavalry, on July 3rd, 1863, as the final action of Gettysburg took place. And we're just about 100 yards away from the marker, so bear with me. As we have traveled on in this South Cavalry Battlefield series, this is something that most people never get to see. So I figured I'd do this video series and point out these spots in case someone is not able to make the trip to Gettysburg, or they don't have the time while in Gettysburg to come and see these off the beaten path types of things. You'll always have a record of it here. We're going to cross this little brook here. And beyond it, here in the distance, you can see the marker. As we get up to the marker, we're going to read it off again, as we've done in the other South Cavalry Battlefield videos, and take a little look at it. And we are just about there. And again, this marker is the position of the 1st and 2nd United States Cavalry detachments, rather, as we looked at in Part 8. This is Another position that was occupied by the detachments of the 1st and 2nd United States Cavalry on July 3rd, 1863. And again, part of the original Cornelius Hoodlin farm lane, which continued into the distance and went behind the Round Tops and Bushman Hill. This has been South Cavalry Battlefield, Part 11, on Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook. South Cavalry Battlefield, Part 12, here on Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook. It was in this area here near the Emanuel Trossel House where John L. Black's North Carolina skirmishers first spread out and engaged the enemy of General Wesley Merritt's Union Reserve Brigade on July 3rd, 1863. It was also from this position that Hart's battery was placed, firing into the advancing Federal troops coming up the Emmitsburg Road on the afternoon of July 3rd, 1863. Of course, these troops would push up further down the road here toward the Alexander Kearns farm before being pushed back by Confederate infantry of the 7th Georgia under George T. Anderson's Georgia Brigade. This has been the South Cavalry Battlefield, Part 12, here on Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook. This is going to be South Cavalry Battlefield, Part 13, here on Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook. And Part 12 was shot about a half a mile in front of our camera here at the Emanuel G. Trossel House. And today we are here at 1775 Emmitsburg Road. This is the Alexander Kearns house. This is the highest point of advance by the Federal troops under General Wesley Merritt's Brigade of Reserve Cavalry here on July 3rd, 1863. The Confederate right hung just right here in front of us at that time. At the same time Pickett's charge was going on. This battle actually happened after Pickett's charge. It was here that Riley's battery was posted along the Emmitsburg Road, firing onto the oncoming reserve cavalry. It was also here that the house was attempted, the Alexander Kearns house in front of us, was attempted to be set to the flame. And if you go up into the attic today, you can actually see the charred log beams from that attempted. However, Riley's battery and Hart's battery would be put in front of this house. They would get reinforced from the 7th Georgia Infantry. So now the Confederates would have artillery, cavalry, and infantry now pushing the Federal troops that had pushed up this far back down the Emmitsburg Road, leading back to where they began near the Cornelius Hoodlin farm, as the Battle of Gettysburg would come to a full and complete end about 8:30 to 9 o'clock on the evening of July 3rd, 1863, the battle being stopped by darkness and rain. This has been South Cavalry Battlefield, Part 13 on Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook.